Okay, here are your 814 notes. So now we're going to talk about how we are going to factor things completely. So if we look at 12, like you could factor it with 3 times 4, 2 times 6, 1 times 12, or as 2 times 2 times 3. This one is the one that's actually factored completely because it takes all of the factors down to where they're prime numbers. During this lesson, we're going to learn more what it means to factor completely. So we're going to review and do some more factoring here. We have 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. Draw your generic rectangle. 9x squared goes here. The 4 is its diagonal. Okay, so then that'll help you set up your diamond problem. What multiplies to be 36x squared that adds to be negative 12x? Well, if you look over here, I listed them out. So there's 1 and 36, 2, 18, 3, 12, 4, 9, and 6 and 6. Since it's a negative 12x, but this is positive, since you're multiplying, you know that they're, since what you're multiplying to is positive, then they either both have to be positive or both have to be negative. But since this is negative, you know it's going to be negative 6 and negative 6. So you put that in there, and then when you split it up, you have 3x and 3x. You can't use 9 and 1 because you wouldn't be able to multiply the 9 by anything to get to the 6. So 3x times negative 2, 3x times negative 2, and then double check, negative 2 times negative 2 makes it 4. So you get 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2. B, this one is a difference of squares. So I want you to start recognizing that when it looks like this, where you can take the square root of the first thing and the square root of the last thing, or the second thing, and it's subtraction, you don't have to do any of this. You can just go straight over here. The square root of 81, m squared, would be 9m. The square root of 1 is 1. So 1's minus, 1's plus, bada bing, bada boom, you could be done. So it's nice to remember that. But I did go ahead, for those of you who maybe wouldn't have recognized that, I worked it out the long way. 81m squared minus 1. So you bring your 81m squared here, negative 1 goes here, and then your middle number would be a 0 since there's not 1. You're looking for 0m. So your diamond problem, negative 81m squared, because you're multiplying these together. So what multiplies to be negative 81m squared, that adds to be 0. Positive 9, negative 9. And so that goes positive 9, negative 9. So this one you're going to pull out your 9 and your 9, which leaves a negative 1 and a positive 1. So 9m plus 1, 9m minus 1. But like I said, if you can recognize this as a difference of squares, this is all you have to do. So that'll make it quick for you. On C, rearrange this one. Put the x squared first, minus 11x plus 28. And then you can factor it like you would normally do it. So you're going to pull out, or you have your x squared and your 28 like this. So you're looking for what multiplies to be 28x squared. That will add to be negative 11x. Negative 7 and negative 4 work for that. So then you're able to bring those out. X times x gives you x squared, so you're able to pull that out. And then what times x gives you negative 4x? Negative 4. Same thing up here, and then you can double check. Negative 7 times negative 4 is a positive 28. So you get x minus 4, x minus 7. On D, I want you to notice, this is what they're talking about when they're talking about factoring completely up here. Do you see how all of these have a factor of 3? Go ahead and divide that 3 out. That'll make your number smaller here. So when you do that, 3n squared divided by 3 is n squared. Take 9n divided by 3, you get 3n. 6 divided by 3, and you get 2. So this is what we were calling undoing the distributive property. So go ahead, if there's something you can divide out, undo that distributive property, and then you have smaller numbers in here. So then you would have n squared and 2. So then you're looking for what multiplies to be 2n squared, that adds to be 3n. 2n and 1n work for that. So n plus 1, n plus 2, following the steps of factoring. But then when you write it, it would look like this. Tune in for video number 2.